Do not for one second believe that the Ethiopian Bible was translated from any of the Greek kingdom, which includes Hebrew, Jerusalem, Latin, Egyptian, etc., for it is translated from Ge'ez itself, which is the original tongues. Also know this, the story Star Witness is about a living God, a God who is the elect of God, elect of himself, therefore he's able to create angels. So in the story Star Witness, his angel son is his favorite son, who goes by the name of Joseph, who also goes by the name of Moses, who also goes by the name of Solomon, who also goes by the name of David, who also goes by the name of Job. And if you know Job, Job is untouchable, even to Satan himself. And if you know Moses, he built an ark just like Solomon. And if you know Moses, David, and Solomon, they were all with a woman named Sheba. Whether it's Bathsheba, whether it's Sheba with two E's, or whether it's Sheba with one E. And Joseph has a son named Jesus during the times of Revelation, or in the latter years. So let's watch. In former ages, Ge'ez was a language of the country, and so, even without an interpreter, the people had no difficulty in examining and understanding the books. But just as one age succeeds another, so Amharic, which sprang from Ge'ez, gradually grew until it became the common speech of the people, taking the place of Ge'ez. At that time, Ge'ez was understood by the learned people of the church, but was not really readily understood by the ordinary people. Arising from this, the scholars in their preaching and work have for centuries been forced in their teaching to interpret from Ge'ez into Amharic, and these conditions prevail until our own times. In other words, the Ethiopian Bible is from Ethiopia. They don't need someone else to tell them. So let's watch. Who is God?
Thousands years of independence. This independence suffered a 5-year break under Italian rule between 1935 and 1941. Ethiopia was hardly heard of outside her frontiers until 1935, when Mussolini invaded it. Towards the end of 1935, Italian aircraft hurled upon the Ethiopian armies bombs of tear gas. Their effects were slight. The soldiers learned to scatter. Italian aircraft then resorted to mustard gas. Special sprayers were installed on aircraft so that they could vaporize over vast areas of territory a fine, death-dealing rain. Women, children, cattle, rivers, lakes, and pastures were drenched continually with this deadly rain. 31 years ago this week, every newspaper in the world carried stories about the spunky little Ethiopian monarch, Haile Selassie I, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, elect of God, King of Kings, power of the Trinity.
The Most High himself. And this is what happened.
Here, a world is crashing. It is the beginning of the end of the League of Nations. Imperturbably, pathetic but purposeful, a small, thin man of great dignity stands before the representatives of the nations assembled in the League at Geneva. Italy had invaded this man's country. The aggressor, fascist Italy, had stated boldly it...
Italy. So let's say who was Italy. And it happened after Alexander the Macedonian, first over Greece, made wars. He fell sick, died. He called his servants and parted his kingdom among them. And his servants ruled every one in his place. They all put crowns upon themselves, so did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. And there came out of them a wicked root. So in Rome, Rome, which is part of the kingdom of Greek, you also have Jerusalem, and you also have Egypt. So let's watch what the Ethiopian Bible says. After Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, so notice the book of Maccabean, also known as the book of Maccabees, is inside of a Bible. So it's biblical. So the Macedonian, who came from the land of Kittim, had defeated Darius, king of the Persians, and the Medes. So you get it? The Medes is part of the Greek kingdom. And who are the Medes? The Medes and Persians were closely related to ancient Iranian peoples who played significant roles in the history of the regions encompassing modern-day Iran and Iraq. And also, in other words, Syria, Iraq, and Iran are the same people. So it says, woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. You notice Babylon, which is Iraq, is also part of the Greek kingdom, along with Egypt, Syria, and Asia. Asia is part of the Greek kingdom because of Seleucus, who was a Greek king. So he became the king of Asia. But either way, Haile Selassie is alive today. So let's watch.
The people told us when he get to Dredewa, at that time, 1,000 people gathered and welcomed him. In the 3 or within 5 days, he disappeared.
And that's why Mengistu started killing everybody?
Yeah.
So he's not dead.
Yeah, it's difficult to say so, but yeah.
Remember, God is a living God who can never die. So he's not in someone's imagination. He lived among the people, ate and drank among the people. He also said he will hide his face from a wicked generation.
But he's also been cited in Ethiopia, His Imperial Majesty. And I know an Italian man who also saw him in the late 90s in Italy that said he was meeting with the Pope because the Pope was giving money to build back the roads in Ethiopia. And this man didn't.
He was also spotted in Brooklyn in 2002 by multiple people. He was also spotted in West Virginia in 2017. In other words, he's alive today. And he literally said he's going to reveal himself when the Russian army from the north comes into the land of Ethiopia. That's when he's going to reveal himself. So in the meantime, you have to wait.
Know anything about Rasta believing about the divinity of Haile Selassie, and he told me, he said he saw him as very old, but he looked very good for his age, and the man was one of Mussolini's soldiers. He told me he saw him, and I was like.
Remember, Selassie was asked if he's God himself, and he denied it. Of course, he has to deny it because Revelation has to finish first. You can't rush it. So imagine he said, "Yes, I'm God," then the media would just go crazy. But the prophecy says stuff has to happen.
Late 90s.
Yeah. And if you go to like in UK, maybe if you get the chance, you can visit museum in London.
Yeah.
So still you can see Haile Selassie's uniform. When he went to Dredewa, he used to use that uniform. Nowadays, this uniform.
In other words, how could his uniform end up in England if he died underneath a toilet? You understand? He was alive to give it to them.
In museum.
Right. And in Bristol,
Yeah.
where we stayed.
But
So if he
Yeah.
died, they will bury him with his uniform, with his
Yeah.
clothes.
They don't have his ring. The Solomonic ring.
For the Solomonic ring is supposed to be given to his favorite son, who also goes by the name of David. And all this happens at the end of time. So look what it says. God has again hidden his face from mankind for the selected few, especially more since the reported death and disappearance of His Imperial Majesty in 1975. So Scripture says that my anger shall be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured. And many evils and troubles shall befall them, so that they will say in that day, are not these evils come upon us, because our God is not among us? And I will surely hide my face in that day for all the evils which they shall have wrought, and they are turned unto other gods. Haile Selassie is not dead. And prophecy has to happen. So stop with the lies.
Show me where Jesus is the Lion of Judah, and you couldn't, you can't. It's
But
impossible.
explain it.
You can explain it all you want, but it is not factual. It is not written anywhere that Jesus, the son of Joseph, is the Lion of Judah, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. It is not written anywhere. I can bring you stacks and stacks of books, non-religious books, Britannicas, encyclopedias, researchers, or anthropologists, right, who will show you that Haile Selassie is the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah, written down, not by me. Now we're speaking about something that we can take as evidence, not something that we want to believe as your own fantasy, right? You found.
In other words, the Greek kingdom created at least 3 religions. And each religion doesn't have the full story. So that's why a Muslim could always argue with a Jewish person, and a Jewish person could always argue with the Roman Catholic, because all three religions lack the entire story. So the heathens changed the story, and they also created an Old and New Testament format which placed the future in the past. So characters you thought died thousands of years ago are meant to be here now during Revelation in the latter times.
Emphasize that Jesus is the Lion of Judah. I'm giving you fact that Emperor Haile Selassie was the King of Kings. So I'm not talking that now. So
Hello, wake up. Time is ticking. I know who John is. Notice it says 3 different people. John is the shepherd.
One more time.
So who is John? Is the revelation of Saint John the Divine One. Haile Selassie was literally born in the year of John. Even Winston Churchill used to call him John Smith. So John is the shepherd. Follow God, not man. Know who Haile Selassie is, the king of all kings.
Was pursuing a sacred mission of civilization.